What's up, wrestling fans? Welcome to episode number 339 of the Smark Moment Smack Talk podcast. This is the Hot Tags edition of the week, where we're going to be breaking down some of the current events, rumors, gossip, news, and anything else that we want to talk about that happened over the past couple of days in the world of professional wrestling and sports entertainment. And we, for this episode, consists of your host, as always, myself, Tony Mango, joined by Robert DeFelice.
Hello.
And Drew White.
Yeah, well, at least I can fucking say Callum's name right sometimes, Tony.
Sometimes, that's the thing.
It's nice to know that you listen to us when you're not here, though.
I love the mailbag. That's one of my favorite, one of our favorite segments. Or one of my favorite segments.
Every year at the end of the year when I'm doing the end of the year, saying the word year a lot, awards, I always give that one of my votes. The mailbag is definitely, like, if it's not my favorite segment, it's top 3 for me, for sure. But that's not the mailbag today. It's hot tags, which, the hot tags are okay.
It's a little too hot, though. God.
Sometimes they're a little spicy.
It's fucking
real quick,
hot as shit outside.
Real quick side note, a little bit of snack talk here. Went to my local favorite Chinese buffet on, was it yesterday? Shit, I don't even remember. Yeah, it was yesterday, I'm pretty sure. And they had, Chinese buffet, you got a bunch of different variations of sushi and stuff, and they had a thing that just said fried sushi. So I was like, okay, but like what sushi? Is it like the egg one? Is it like the eel? Is it shoved a bunch of fucking avocado in there? What? Sounded like avocado. And took a bite out of one of them that I had on my plate, and I'm like, this is pretty good. I'm going to go back up and get another one. Got another one, and whatever was on the inside was spicy as shit, and it wasn't wasabi. It was some kind of like orange stuff. Not a fan. So, hot tags.
It was a long night for you.
Yeah, hot. Let's talk about some different random topics here. If you can tell from the title and the thumbnail and stuff, we are going to talk about Enzo Amore's his debut fucking rap song, but we're gonna save that to the end because I know that people are really interested in that.
This is not his debut, man. We all know "Soft" is a sin.
That's true.
Like his first single, and that's one of the hottest songs ever to be released.
Well, let's put it this way: we're doing the hot tags. We're going to talk about Somebody on Fire, and then we're going to talk about that song. Then we're going to talk about that song, which is just hot garbage. So it's a lot of hot stuff tonight.
Hey man.
So I'm going to start off with, normally at the end of this, or at least towards the end, or in some capacity, we're able to talk about whatever happened at the end of Monday Night Raw. That's some kind of WWE Network special. But I'm assuming because it's Memorial Day, or maybe just because they're lazy, no WWE Network special for this week. Nothing to talk about with there. So earlier today, I went ahead and I got a chance to check out the latest Something Else to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard and Conrad and the whole discussion on Vince Russo. Am I the only one who got a chance to check that out?
I did check it out as well. I checked it out when it was released.
I still need to check that out.
Have you heard any interview on Vince Russo in the last decade, Drew?
I've heard maybe like interviews on like for podcasts from like a couple years ago.
Probably contribute to this discussion.
Okay.
It's essentially a lot of the same marks that we've heard before, like they make fun of how he says bro a lot. They talk about the whole idea that like he sometimes potentially, we don't know for sure, seeks credit for certain ideas and says like, I'm the reason why DX did the invasion. I'm the reason why Stone Cold Steve Austin has the Austin 316 phrase and a lot of those kind of things like that. But he also spends a lot of time, at least what they were referring to with his book, a lot of time talking about how disappointed he was that Vince McMahon might not love him or something. Like, just kind of like, oh, does he really care about me or not? And all that. And this is a random aside, but I had a dream last night that involved Vince McMahon, and it's not a dirty dream, so get your mind out of the gutter. I had a dream, and I don't know what the impetus for this was, but I was on an airplane, and I noticed that Vince McMahon was around, and so was Batista. And Batista was telling Vince McMahon, I don't fucking like this guy talking about me. Basically telling Vince, don't like Tony. And I was just kind of going, hey, what the fuck? What did I do? Like, you know, whatever. And it was this big, long discussion of him being like, well, I don't know if I can trust you, whatever. And it turned into this overwhelming fear that the plane had something to do with 9/11.
Jesus. Well,
I woke up randomly from this. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night. And I was thinking to myself, like, what the hell? So then I'm listening to this Vince Russo thing, and it's all just like, I don't know if Vince really loved me or not, whatever. And I'm like, is this just some kind of thing? Like, people just don't know if Vince likes him or not. Even in my dream, I'm like, does Vince think I'm cool? Does he hate me like Batista does? Did he cause 9/11?
Well, Batista hates you because you weren't a fan of his work in Galaxy Volume 2. You thought he wasn't as Drax as he should have been.
Oh, but he killed it in Infinity War. Or at least I think he did. I couldn't really tell because he was pretty like invisible on the screen, and I don't know if he was really acting or not.
He was going too slow.
What did you think about the Vince Russo episode, though? Any kind of like insights that you thought were kind of interesting or anything?
So, first thing, Vince Russo's book was written shortly after like WCW closed, and it was in that time frame where, you know, there was no TNA, or TNA was just starting up. And the reason that's heavily in the book is because that's the reason he cites for leaving for WCW. He didn't know if Vince really appreciated him and all that. And the thing is, we all love the Attitude Era, and I love hearing some of those stories. The problem I'm having is they all kind of bleed together now. How many times can you hear that Vince Russo, man? Yeah, he said that things needed to be edgy, but he had no fucking clue, and all he did was just bro you to death, and he'd bro, we need more characters, bro. And it's like, I get it. People don't like Russo. You know, nothing that you haven't heard before, especially if you listen to the Something to Wrestle podcast. You can skip this one if you feel like it. I would like them to start doing more like fresh content instead of just ripping episodes that they've already recorded for the podcast and redoing them for the network.
It'd be kind of interesting to get their perspective on some modern day things, even though they're not like in the know in the same kind of capacity, but kind of like maybe like, I don't know, the hours, not the hours, the episodes are like an hour and 45 minutes or so. And not to talk about the idea of like overly long episodes, because I'm somebody who has like 2.5 hour long mailbags and stuff.
Yeah, we're terrible.
But I don't know, I kind of would like to see maybe a little addition on the show where maybe they do like 10 minutes worth of talk about something recently, you know? Like, what's Bruce Pritchard's insight on the way that they're booking so-and-so? And it'll be like, well, they're probably thinking this and that and that. But maybe that's one of the things that they told them not to do. Or maybe they just don't want to. You never know.
I was watching something on YouTube earlier, and Jim Cornette was going off about how he hated Vince Russo, and that was kind of funny. And that's about all I could contribute to this conversation right now.
Yeah, they hate and even other. That, it's like, how many times can you hear Cornette? Oh, Cornette wanted 70s wrestling. Russo wanted edgy. And by the way, I love Jim Cornette. I would never knock Jim Cornette. I think Jim Cornette is hilarious and a freaking genius. But just those stories are a little old to me, bro.
Yeah. Let's see what we got.
I also want to say, Vince, he does say bro too much. That's not a lie.
The one thing that I do feel bad for Russo is people try to tack the Owen thing onto Russo, and that there may be some truth to the fact that, you know, he wanted Owen to be like super hard for Deborah, and Owen didn't want to do that, so they said be the Blue Blazer.
Wouldn't Owen be a Kevin Dunn problem, honestly?
I think it was just a freak accident. Nobody should be blamed for that. You know, that's a terrible tragedy.
If anybody should be blamed, it'd be whoever would actually like latch everything together, and that's still an accident and stuff. But I would say if you are into the Something Else to Wrestle podcast to check it out, but kind of echoing the same points as Rob there. If you've already heard these stories before, you're not going to get any more insight. It's nothing that's going to be like, oh my God, wow, Vince Russo actually like.
Although the OJ story, but like that's one of the famous Russo stories, or at least I've heard a lot. But the whole, they wanted to do Piper versus OJ, which is crazy in itself. And then Vince suggests, Russo, not McMahon, suggests, let's just put Ron Goldman's father against OJ Simpson and give him a gun, machete, or grenade. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is WrestleMania.
I really hope that story is true, and they actually had that conversation of like, maybe we can put a grenade in the ring, and like, you know.
I think Vince Russo is honestly he's a maniac. Like he's manic in some way. Like he probably has like some kind of actual disorder and he needs diagnosed. Because he's kind of insane.
Let's move to another topic here. This is something that I am not going to be interested in whatsoever, but Rob, you might be checking it out. On Fite TV, Global Force Wrestling is coming soon, according to Jeff Jarrett.
Yay!
Wait, so you're telling me that Global Force, after they merged with the Impact, which I thought was going to be great because, you know, Impact needed the name change. So when they separated, you're telling me Global Force is going back to being its own entity? Ugh.
Exactly. And hey, I guess they kind of have a TV deal if it's Fite TV.
Well, it's the Fite TV app, which kind of, if anyone out there doesn't know, they host like the pay-per-views for Ring of Honor and the pay-per-views for Impact, and they even give you like free Championship Wrestling from Hollywood weeklies. But I don't know what Global Force is as a brand anymore. Like, it could be something that's great. I hope it does work out. I'm always for better wrestling and more wrestling in 2018. But, you know, I
correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't the Global Wrestling Network have the GFW footage?
No, it's just got the GF. It's got like the global name because they created it when they were merging TNA with GFW, and I guess Impact just stayed with that branding
name.
To
stop doing this kind of shit and just merge already. Just fucking do it. I'm getting so sick and tired of all this. Like, well, the Global Wrestling Network is not really the Global Force Wrestling Network. It's actually Fite TV, which is going to be this other thing, and then the Impact thing is actually Anthem, and they've got these owls, and what? Fuck you. Just like, you know.
Well, Fite TV actually, you know, they give, you know, MMA, and it's a combat sport app that has a lot of pro wrestling included. So it could be great. I hope it is. I go into these things so skeptical now, unfortunately.
Well, it also bugs me that Fite isn't spelled right. So that's just my grammar and myself just kind of being like, nah, I don't like that.
So are you bothered by the name of the sci-fi channel?
Oh yeah, I hated that as soon as they said that they were doing that.
So
Siffy.
So you're like the little robot from WALL-E that gets mad because WALL-E keeps making a mess every time he cleans or something? Is that you? I
think I'm more like Linguo.
Oh yeah.
Mango is dead. I'm trying to pick some of the topics that Frankie has suggested in the Mega Maniacs, and one of them was John Morrison or John Hennigan or whatever you want to call him this time around. Yeah. He's going to be on Survivor. It's season 37.
Jesus, did they do 2 times a year?
They have to. I mean, it couldn't be 37. I mean, maybe it's 3 a year or something like that. I don't know.
God, that seems way too much. It seems people would get very tired of that, but I guess not.
I got tired of that. I used to watch the show a lot. And I think I had seen the first like 5 seasons of it or something like that. And then I was just kind of like, oh, okay, I get it. They're going to run in the sand. They're going to do some kind of a puzzle. People are going to go, I hope I don't get voted out on tribal council tonight. And then it'll be like, actually, Chad got eliminated. I didn't see it coming. And then that's the end of the episode.
It's a swerve, bro.
Like that kind of shit. And then you're done.
Well, my parents love that show because Rupert is from Indianapolis. And
I like that dude.
Yeah, no, that guy is That this guy's like, yeah, man, you just want to chill with him. And it's like, yeah, man, what's up? Though he's a libertarian, so he's not that cool politically, but he's aight.
If you go past the idea of like every once in a while they'd have a hot chick, the best thing that I had seen that ever happened on the show was when the guy fell asleep and his hand was in the fire. And then it was just kind of like, fuck, that's not supposed to go there.
I've seen that clip.
That sucks for that guy, you know. But hey, Survivor. That's what it is.
Literally.
It's the name of the show.
Okay, for real. If he fell in that fire, would the crew get fire extinguishers and put him out, or would they just let it be?
So we're jumping right to the Peruvian wrestler that fucking.
Well, I mean, we have so many topics that are dealing with fire on this episode. It's kind of.
So much talk about hot already.
Morrison on Survivor. Morrison's doing a great job in branching out into movies. He's in there's a Netflix movie, Boone the Bounty Hunter, that's starring John Morrison. He's also in the Netflix movie WrestleMania, which is like where he wrestles a dog or something.
Jesus Christ.
That's
a thing.
It is a thing. I don't know if he wrestles the dog. I know he was in the movie, and the dog is the main character. I had watched it once a while back. You should check it out if you've got nothing else going on. But yeah, Morrison's on Survivor. Great. I hope he branches out even further. I really wish he would have broken free in WWE and been like a top guy. He should have been, but you know.
Was it Wago in the thing that had put him down as just Johnny Survivor? I think it was Wago, that's so good. I like that a lot.
Because he's just Johnny, whatever he's working for. Like on Impact, he's Johnny Impact.
Yeah.
He's doing some stuff with Blackcraft, and he's gonna be Johnny Blackcraft.
Man, if only if he was in WCW, then the name Johnny Nitro would have really worked out then.
That's the reason he used the name Johnny Nitro, because he was trying to kiss Eric Bischoff's ass.
Ooh.
So is this all just building to a big feud with Johnny Gargano, so it could be Johnny Blank versus Johnny Wrestling?
Johnny Wrestling. No, I'm the Johnny Wrestling. Like...
Johnny Pro Wrestling versus Johnny Wrestling.
May I ask you a question, Robert?
Okay.
But I'm trying to remember, and I do not remember for sure. But before Eminem debuted, was he
yes,
something else?
He was Bischoff's personal assistant, and that's where he give himself the name Johnny Nitro, because he was kissing Bischoff's ass.
That's incredible. If only I remember that.
Do you remember when he stopped being Johnny Nitro and he redubbed himself John Morrison?
Yeah.
I remember that night. That was all just kind of like, wait, what's happening with Johnny Nitro now? He's ECW champion? And it was like, oh, because of the Chris Benoit thing. And I'm like, oh, okay, they actually went with that. I figured they would have gone with CM Punk. Then it was like, now I'm John Morrison, and I'm all like the Doors and stuff, and I was just kind of like, what is happening here?
Johnny Nitro is a generic name for a wrestler. That's like such a douchey wrestler name, but that's a way better name than John Morrison.
I like the name John Morrison. I thought it worked out for him. You know, he had the slow motion entrance and the bedazzled abs. He was doing a thing.
He should have been bigger than what he was. They put that much effort into an entrance. They have plans for you. Come on.
And real quick, Miz and Morrison,
good tag team.
Underrated.
No, that's one of the best tag teams of like the late 2000s.
Yeah, that's one of I would put that potentially in a top 10 of my favorites of all time.
Hell yeah, dude. They were great characters.
I like the 15 minutes of fame thing that he did too, where he took like a jobber and it was like if you can last 15 minutes, you could get a title shot. That should have gone on longer. I like that a lot. So if you watch Survivor and you got any opinions on this, tell us what you think Hennigan's going to do. Is he going to be good? Is he going to suck? At least he's going to be good when it comes to like the physical challenges and stuff, you know?
I'm assuming this is a celebrity edition of Survivor, correct?
Does it matter?
I don't think so. I don't remember coming across any of the things that said that. And I think that they've had people that aren't like not like celebrity kind of things. Like he's a celebrity, but he's not, you know, like Angelina Jolie or something like that, where it's like everybody knows him.
there might be one person in the whole Survivor group that might mark the fuck out because they watched him in Lucha Underground. And he calls him his like Lucha Underground name.
Johnny Lucha Underground.
No, there he's Johnny Mundo.
Yeah, why are you saying that he's Johnny Lucha?
Because how bad is that?
It's a bit stupid as shit.
How bad is that sound?
Johnny Impact Lucha. Is dumb.
Johnny Impact is stupid as shit.
Yeah, it is dumb, and shame on them for not just calling him Johnny Mundo. That he could have made that work.
Johnny Underground. Let's see. Yeah, we got another fire thing. Let's go to this one. If we're talking indie wrestling, let's talk about this guy.
Holy shit, this video broke me when I saw it.
So let me reread this a little bit here because I forgot the guy's name and stuff. But he's James Idol Martinez. And if you haven't seen the footage, do yourself a favor and go check it out. Because the guy puts gasoline on himself, lights himself on fire, and then does like a splash. And
he misses, doesn't he?
Well, he gets suspended for it. Because supposedly this whole thing was not planned, and I wouldn't put them past them to be like, don't fucking light yourself on fire. This is in the Philippines, so it's not like it's like, CZW or something like that. Like some local kind of place that, a CZW type of place, they'll do like nails in the head and a lot of things that are really kind of just like, why the fuck are you doing this? And this is the Philippines where they're just like, I don't know, just fucking light himself on fire. And
yeah,
it's also apparently a thing that he's done before. Like he has created other problems. And I'm reading this one thing. Let me see what the part is right there. He had gotten into trouble before. He jumped from the second floor of a venue.
On fire?
Not on fire. But that was another thing where it was just kind of like, I want to jump from like way too fucking high. And this Martinez dude, like, why the fuck are you setting yourself on fire? Like, what? That's all you have to say about this. What the fuck, dude? Philippine Wrestling Revolution. I don't necessarily blame them for it, but this dude is just like, come on, you're not going to get a WWE contract by lighting yourself on fucking fire.
Just imagine the conversation he had with the guy he was wrestling with before he climbs up on the ropes to light himself on fire. He's like, hey man, I'm gonna go for it. He's like, what are you talking about? You'll see.
He's just like, man, we're gonna fucking set this place on fire tonight. He's just like, yeah, man, we're gonna go out there, we're gonna kick some ass. That's not what I'm talking about, but I like your enthusiasm. And he's like, wait, what?
He's Johnny Deathwish.
Johnny, anybody got a light? James Idol Martinez. I had never heard the guy's name before, and I doubt I'm ever going to hear his name again other than this. But what do you guys think about this whole philosophy? Like, the backyard wrestling stuff, the idea of trying to be stuntmen beyond the point of making any sense. Because wrestling itself, I mean, you can have somebody just do a headlock and suddenly you've torn something, or you're doing a drop kick and you fuck up your ankle for the rest of your life. Like, there's so many ways things can go bad, and these people jump from rooftops on top of really non-gimmicked tables, and they break lights over their heads. And
you want to know who I blame it on? I blame it. No, I blame backyard wrestling on the king of backyard wrestling, which is the fucking Hardy Boys, the most overrated tag team of all time.
I thought you were gonna potentially go with Foley.
No, why would
no?
No,
because Foley jumped off his roof and they showed it on TV.
Yeah, that's true. Nah, I just think that the Hardy Boys, I think people always associate them with backyard wrestling because they're glorified backyard wrestlers. Jeff more so than Matt.
You know what though? I'll fight you on that, because when they did their Omega promotion, they worked really hard as teenagers to put on a legit show. Yes, Jeff is a fucking crazy person, but you know that works.
That's why I say
him.
Jeff more so. That's why I say Jeff more so than Matt, and that's fine. Truthfully, Jeff should have gotten hurt with some of the bumps he's taken over his career. The fact that he has like he's had like major injuries, obviously, but he probably should have like retired years ago from some of the bumps he took even early in his career. So I just think Jeff's an idiot when it comes to that shit. I would not do like a quarter of the stuff that he does.
Well, look, the backyard wrestling stuff. As far as the Philippines, I don't know what's going on there, but
Yeah,
people do it to get noticed and maybe to get a little bit of a head start before, going to train legit, a la a CM Punk. Some people just do it so they can feel like they're wrestlers. Some people...
Shit, yeah, Punk was a backyard wrestler.
I don't know. It works for some. It doesn't work for others. I would not consider lighting yourself on fire in any circumstance.
I will say that my Hardy thing was more of a joke than anything, but I will say that when it comes to just like this whole backyard wrestling thing, there was a really good, I forget what the name of it was, but there was a good backyard wrestling game for the original Xbox.
It was literally called Backyard Wrestling.
Fuck, that's all it was.
Don't try this at home.
Do you win the game if you set yourself on fire?
I don't know, but ICP's on the cover.
Yeah.
Whoa, no wonder I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting game. You literally wrestle in backyards, and
I never played those, which is, you know what, I can live without them.
it's okay. It's nothing compared to like Day of Reckoning or anything like that, but
I just great game.
Hate this whole like. I can understand that there's also different types of entertainment, and some people are very much like wrestling should be the wrestling type stuff. You should have like a baby face and a heel, and they lock up and they do their arm bars and that kind of stuff. And then you've got the other type of people that are more on the WWE side of things. And then even then, you've got the people that like the Attitude Era and the people that like the modern ones and stuff. But the backyard wrestling stuff, to me, it always just comes off very, like, if the people partially wanted to be combat fighters, but maybe can't do it, so they also said, well, let me try to be Jackass without charisma.
How do you feel about the videos that are popping up now of people, like, WWE moves in the Sky Zone, like the trampoline parks? That's what they're called.
That's kind of fun. Like, there's that picture, the video of Jeff Hardy's kid doing an RKO to him in the pool, and it was like, all right, well, they're being safe. It's just in a pool. They're not, like, I don't know, like, doing something too crazy. She's, basically giving him a hug, and he's, jumping into the pool.
Yeah, it's not like he's doing it off the top of a ladder onto 2 tables set up over the fucking pool.
Right, yeah. And then, like,
Jeff Hardy
setting his daughter on fire.
The table's on fire as well.
But, like, when people take a fork and they just start jamming it into somebody's head, I'm just like, dude, knock it off.
That's assault. Like, that's a crime.
It's just stupid. You're just... I don't understand it. And if you're a backyard wrestler and you're listening to this right now, I hope that you're able to type out a response back, but you probably can't.
I mean, when I was like in 4th grade, I did trampoline wrestling, and that's where I came up with Ricky the Torpedo Marinara sauce. Or Ricky Repeat the Torpedo Marinara sauce.
Even the backyard wrestling stuff with the trampoline, to me, is a little bit like past what I would consider like what people should be doing. But you're still not lighting the trampoline on fire, Like, it's still, like, there's so many more levels beyond that point to be like, I think I should just torch myself. And...
we probably shouldn't have been doing trampoline wrestling because my friend was able to do the tombstone pile driver, and, that's not a safe move for, like, anyone that's not a wrestler to take or do. So...
I don't know.
To be fair, it was that, and then the Batista power bomb. He got those 2. That was his 2 finishers, and I got a fucking drop kick that I repeatedly did until they just got done with getting back up.
I kind of like that better though.
So if you could get an idea of what the weight advantage was, it was like a lot in his favor.
Let's go to a completely different subject here, just because why not?
Is it hot?
That's a little on the lukewarm side because it hasn't happened yet, but we do have some details about the upcoming 2 tournaments that WWE is going to be doing, the United Kingdom Championship Tournament and the Mae Young Classic #2. Both of those are coming pretty soon. The United Kingdom Championship, we had announced some of those things before. It's happening right after Money in the Bank, but this time the announcement is that they've actually put out all the people and that they've put out the matches that are happening first. The first round matches are as follows, and I don't know damn near anything about half of the people. Drew Gulak versus Gentleman Jack Gallagher. Ashton Smith versus Joseph Connors, who was around in the first one. Flash Morgan Webster, the guy who looks a little bit like Elton John and Austin Powers.
Like, he looks like he's one of the Oasis
brothers. Yeah, kind of. He's going to hit his finisher, the Wonderwall, on James Drake, who was around the first time, and I get him and Joseph Connors confused constantly. I cannot tell which one's which.
I believe Connors is on was on 205 Live a couple weeks ago.
I think that they both were. If
Probably.
I remember correctly. That's part of the reason why I just can't fucking tell the difference between them. We have Kenny Williams, who was on 205 Live against Dave Mastiff. We have
Kenny Williams is really good.
He seemed like he was somebody interesting, and I'll kind of backtrack to that in a minute. But we have Travis Banks against Ligero. I think that's how you pronounce it. He's their like luchador type of guy. Zach Gibson, who I've heard a lot about, but I know nothing about, against Amir Jordan. Tucker from the first time around against Joe Coffey, and Jordan Devlin and Tyson T-Bone, both of them from the first time around.
Finn Balor, do.
Yeah, Finn Balor. Basically, if you were to copy and paste, is Jordan Devlin, it seems. I look at this list and I think to myself, all right, well, half the people have done it before. Half the people are kind of new. What's Drew Gulak doing in this a little bit? Because it is, he's from Philly, and it's kind of strange that he's in there, but I'm kind of hoping that he plays the part of, like, I'm the American, and I'm going to win the UK title, and fuck you, like that kind of thing. I kind of like that idea. And then if that's the case, totally rooting for Drew Gulak to win. But I don't know too much about those other people, and the ones that I do know about, I think I would rule out all of the people from the previous tournament, because it wouldn't make any sense to me for somebody to win this time that was an older guy. And without knowing much about like a Zach Gibson or Ashton Smith or whatever, Kenny Williams stands out to me as maybe the guy that could end up winning this.
I'm thinking Flash Morgan Webster.
Yeah? Any particular reason?
I was into him, watching him on 205 Live. I like the fact that he looks like one of the Oasis brothers. And I think he's cool, and hopefully this tournament leads to them actually saying what they're doing with the UK division.
I said maybe they will. I do. Drew, have you heard of any of these people? I can see you just randomly being like, I'm going to hitch my wagon to Travis Banks.
Like Tyson T-Bone, baby.
Yeah.
Who was the one that was in the first tournament that's making their second appearance that didn't get signed on?
Juventud.
I want to go with that guy. Why would they bring him back otherwise? No, they have plans for him.
Hoovy is amazing.
Well, Hoovy
running gag of the year.
This in the UK tournament.
What was that random theme?
I don't know. I took this cowboy and Wild Wild Wrestling from Poster.
We also have a couple other matches that they've announced for this. We, on the very first night, are going to have, they're calling them British Strong Style. Pete Dunne, Trent Seven, and Tyler Bate are going to go up against the Undisputed Era. And then the second night is going to be kind of similar. We're going to have all four of the NXT titles, or not all four, 3 of the NXT titles on the line, not the NXT Championship. North American, the tag team, and the women's. And we're also going to have the UK Championship match between Pete Dunne and the winner of whoever wins the tournament thing. So a lot of Undisputed Era being represented on the UK Championship tournament.
How good are they?
Undisputed Era?
Yeah.
Not bad. I like them.
I love them. I'm all in with the Undisputed Era. I think it took them a while, but they're starting to really be the cornerstone of the NXT scene, and the UK tournament shows are going to be great, as they were last year. And by the way, did they say who's getting the women's title shot?
Not that I'm aware of.
I kind of hope, and this is me totally shooting for the stars, but Paige's mom, Soraya Knight, should be the one who gets the shot here.
That is a random thing, but you know what? It might be kind of fun. I was kind of assuming that it would be somebody like Toni Storm.
Speaking of hot tags, that's a hot chick right there.
I endorse. She is apparently in that side of things where they've signed her, but they haven't signed her, kind of, in different ways, and that's kind of confusing. So that's part of the reason why that's not like a full-on hot tag going on right now. But more information on that hopefully in the future. Hopefully it's just like she's signed, the end, that kind of a thing. The Mae Young Classic is also kind of a little bit to do with that to a certain extent, because they've talked a little bit about that, but not as much because it's not coming up soon in the same capacity. That is going to be happening on, if I remember correctly, it's like the very beginning of August. Let me double check again. August 7th and 8th is what I've been seeing going on for that. And they're slowly but surely putting out some names. You know, some of the people are going to be returning from the last time around. I would be very shocked if we don't see, like, Mercedes Martinez return, for instance. And she needs to just be signed. And they can put some other people in the mix, too.
Needs to win it this time, dude. Nicole Savoy.
I didn't end up being too impressed by Nicole Savoy the first time around, if I remember correctly. I think she was on my bottom tier.
To me, she's the total package. She's like, she had the character down. She has, she has the ability. She's not Lex Luger, and that's a major plus. Yeah.
Oh, real quick, random aside. If you go back and you check out some of the first promos where he was the narcissist, listen to Bobby Heenan. He tends not to say the narcissist. He says the narcissist.
Because
he puts that emphasis on it.
Initially, his name was not the narcissist Lex Luger. It was just going to be Narcissus. Like a Greek
that's
god.
why? I didn't even know that.
Like a Greek god kind of Narcissus. And then it became, he's the narcissist Lex Luger. And then it became, well, God, by God, he's all American. I know way too much about wrestling. I get way too much.
Did not know that whole narcissist thing, but I actually kind of like that a little bit.
Yeah.
Better than Hercules. What are some of the other things? Oh, these are two topics that I was not expecting to talk about, and I actually forgot I even had them on my hot tags. It goes to show the perspective I've got going on right now. I'm really burned out with wrestling, everybody. One of them is that WWE is potentially, according to some dirt sheets out there, thinking of selling the television rights to WrestleMania.
I think that just means, okay, do you remember a couple of years ago, like maybe, I guess it was about 10 years ago now, when they used to do the WrestleMania NBC specials where they would just kind of show highlights of the match?
They still did that a few years ago.
I think that's what that means.
I hope that that's not the case, but I don't think anything's coming about from this. I know that some people are going, well, what does this mean? Does that mean that in 2 years, that in 2020, we're going to have WrestleMania air as like a thing like the Super Bowl? And I'm going, nope, not a chance. I think that if anything, Fox probably was like, hey, what do we got to do to get something like a WrestleMania on there? Then they go, we'll talk about it. And then it won't go anywhere.
Well, you never know, because this year, and yes, the network is free for new subscribers every month, but this year they were really plugging free WrestleMania. WrestleMania is free. And it's like, man, you're making me feel stupid for paying you to watch this.
Yeah, but that's different than airing it on, like, Fox.
Maybe that's a step they're considering taking.
I don't think it would be the end of the world, but I don't think it's going to happen. It's a weird scenario. I just can't imagine WWE wanting to put the biggest show of the year not on the network. That's the one time of the year where they boost up the subscriber count more than anything else.
Do you think Fox gets and interesting to note, in 92, Fox did have a deal with them for Saturday night's main event and some other quarter annual specials. I wonder if they're gonna just give them a major like TV special.
That I think is going to happen. I think that we're going to get some, like, kind of like the Greatest Royal Rumble just happened out of nowhere. We could just get randomly like, hey, we're going to do No Mercy is going to happen on a random Friday night or something
On
like
Fox,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that could happen. Let's see. The other one was, what was the other? Oh, yeah. Have you guys been hearing about Major League Wrestling? Because I've been hearing that name a lot, and apparently so has WWE, because the reports are saying that they are like very adamantly trying to steal people away from that promotion.
So MLW initially was one of the promotions that kind of sprouted in the ashes of like when WCW closed and ECW closed. MLW and Ring of Honor and stuff like that rose. MLW for a while went away, and then they re-emerged as a podcast network. And they host Something Else to Wrestle, the Conan podcast, and it's all run by like Court Bauer, who was a former writer. And they recently started running live shows again, and now they have a weekly TV deal on beIN Sports. I do have that channel. They have like Low Key and Shane Strickland and a lot of major indie names, and it's a great show. It's a great little show. It's filmed here in Orlando at like a nightclub, and I like it. Do I think WWE's looking to sign talent? I think they're always looking to sign talent, but MLW's probably popped up on their radar because they're gaining a lot of traction real quick.
I'm embarrassed to say this, but Major League Wrestling was the name of one of my e-feds at one point.
I thought you were going to say the trampoline one.
I should have, but no.
Major League Trampolines.
Fun note for people like us who grew up around the Attitude Era. Tony Schiavone does the commentary for
Really?
MLW. Yes.
That's interesting.
I thought he said before something along the lines of that, like he doesn't really like wrestling.
Well, he started doing a podcast on the MLW network, What Happened When Mondays. He does that also with Conrad Thompson of Something to Wrestle. And, they just kind of kept him on, and he signed a long-term deal with them to do commentary and podcasts. And it's really great to have that voice. I like Schiavone as a commentator, and that's one of the really cool things.
Did not know that. I'm gonna have to start paying a little bit more attention to the MLW.
To other wrestling promotions.
Yeah, not all of them, but I want to know at least a little. Like, I know a little bit about Ring of Honor here and there. I know a little bit about New Japan, that kind of a thing. But it's like I just don't have the time to follow it and stuff. And there's no way I'm following Impact. Fuck that. But Major League Wrestling, I had heard the name here and there, but I don't know anybody that's in there. As far as, like, if you were to say, name somebody who wrestles in Major League Wrestling, I'd be like, I can't tell you. But if I looked at the roster, I might be like, oh, yeah, I recognize that name, that kind of thing.
Do you know, do you have cable?
Yeah.
Do you know if you have beIN Sports?
Not a clue.
You should look it up. It's on Fridays, 8 o'clock. So it's not a bad time slot,
Yeah. Well, I could always probably find something online, I'm sure, too.
That's true.
Yeah. I barely watch anything actually on TV. You hear that, Comcast?
I'll try to be a nice guy and tell you where to support the product.
Well, I don't know if I should support it yet. I'll check it out, and then I'll see if I should support it. It might be minor league wrestling, in my mind.
But
So let's talk about the real shit show that we really want to get into here.
Oh man, we're already there. Jeez.
Yeah. Enzo Amore, if you've been following his stuff, he's been silent on social media.
Ooh, not anymore.
And everything comes out as the charges are dropped and everything like that. He goes totally free. And now he turned this into, I'm going to pop up at Times Square on Memorial Day. And today he drops through Worldstar Hip Hop, which immediately is like, I fucking love it.
Yes.
He drops his rap single, Phoenix, under the name Real1. It is awful. And it is as bad as you can imagine that it would be.
Can I get...
I got the lyrics.
Oh, you found all the lyrics? Or you just the main highlight one? Because there's one thing that he says multiple times in there that is like that perfectly sums up how terrible this thing is.
Listen, if I'm gonna be critical of this song for like 5 seconds, it is hot garbage. It's pretty bad. You know, it's the production on it's kind of terrible. It's the music video is kind of terrible. But I want to hear those lyrics.
Okay, I found lyrics, but they're very poorly spelled, so I don't know if we could take it with a grain of salt.
Maybe they were spelled out by him.
I'm gonna give this to Tony to read because I think Tony's got a better voice, and I think it's gonna be a lot funnier if Tony reads it.
Yeah.
All right, send me the link.
Watching him break is or listening to him break is gonna be funny. Let's see this. Bad Genius on Genius.
Let me just double check. No, see that I don't think that's the same one.
Well, I know they got the one part in there.
Wow, they really did type this really poorly.
Yeah.
So maybe it is that. Maybe that's why. Because I was trying to do a search for that, and I was like, "This isn't popping up." They just really say it poorly. So, here's the intro for it. For those who want to know, they show a very fat guy, and they're clearly making fun of pro wrestling fans and stuff. Listen up, you sloppy jalopy son of a bitch. Sitting on your fucking couch with your fucking phone in your hand, doing your armchair detective work, thinking you know what the fuck is going on. When was the last time you kept a 2-month social media challenge? You think I wasn't going to say shit. Okay, let's start with this. I kind of liked the idea behind this, because I was like, oh, okay, he's making fun of the previous career that he had, and he's kind of doing it a little bit easy, but okay, you know, whatever.
I'm burnt out on people parodying wrestling, so I was just like, well, what the fuck is this? Especially, like, it was the stereotypical wrestling fan, the, like, overweight, in his mom's basement. Shut up, Mom, trying to watch the 25th anniversary of wrestling.
Yeah, just the 25th year of wrestling. Which,
of
you
wrestling,
know,
not
of all of Enzo knows. Listen, for all we know, Enzo only is going to go back as far as he's alive for wrestling, because nothing existed before him, probably in his mind.
Now, see, this breakdown is definitely all out of the place. Like, it doesn't have exactly the same lineup of what the lyrics were and stuff. But here's a couple standout things. Nah, I ain't Bill Cosby, bitch. Bitch, them wages getting garnished for my image that you tarnished. My favorite personal line of the whole thing, the one that just makes you go, for fuck's sake, dude. Consensual penis.
Yeah. This song is pretty fucking tone deaf.
Well, hold on. And yes, consensual penis is what initially made me crack. But when he started just saying, it's something to the effect of, the only thing in the pudding is proof. There's no roofie in this pudding. I ain't Bill Cosby. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
I don't know if he must be his own agent and he must be his own publicist, because there's no fucking way that there was no one that was like, hey man, this probably isn't a good idea because this is pretty fucking bad. But I think it makes him look kind of fucking stupid.
It makes him look so bad.
Yeah. It just makes this, to me, it blows up the whole fucking situation. I get if you're gonna make a rap song, and look, I actually listen. If you're soft, you're sloppy. I love that song. "Soft as a Sin" is one of my favorite. Is one of my favorite WWE themes that just came out in like the past like decade or so. But man, he has no flow on this song. Where like his flow changes like with every freaking bar he spits. He just changes the way he raps, and it's crazy. Like, cause he'll like be in his normal voice, and it's kind of normal for a second, and then he gets like this, and it's just like, what the fuck, man? Jesus Christ! It's like you're trying to be Robin Williams, and just constantly has to change.
What are you, tube guy or something?
Tube guy. Ooh. God damn it! Oh, you gotta be sloppy.
But that's the thing, is if you were to take out the idea that this is Enzo, and you just sent me this, and you said, what do you think of this? I'd be like, this is fucking terrible.
Well,
like, the
to be
song
fair-
isn't catchy. As just like you change all of the lyrics, the song still sounds stupid. Show me on mute the music video. I think it's stupid. Print out the lyrics and show me, "They cry tears of joy at my funeral. Still I rise from the ashes like a phoenix." Okay, I'm fine with this. "Middle finger to the sky, gripping my consensual penis," and I'm going, wait, what? Then it's "Lion ass hoe out in Phoenix. When I say that shit, I mean it. Fuck you, Marks, for hating. This for all my fans waiting. Entertainment's hottest free agent. Bitch, I'm reincarnated." No, you're not. And
well, okay. If I didn't know it was Enzo, I would literally just think it's Worldstar Hip Hop being Worldstar Hip Hop. So
I would think it's a parody video.
in that sense, I think he's on to something. But oh my god, he mentions the Me Too movement, which isn't in the lyrics that I gave you, but he's like, to all the girls out here crying "Me Too, I stand with you," and then he just goes on to say, like, "Fuck this bitch for lying," and TMZ owes me money.
Yeah, I thought the TMZ part was kind of funny. Man, this song sucks.
And
So bad.
When I first saw Enzo, this is like way before he even got with Cass, when he just was making his debut, I was like, that guy's money. He did the whole, bada boom, realest guy in the room, and I went, oh my god, he's so spot on, stereotypical Guido, that I thought he's gonna make a lot of money in the wrestling business. When he, got pushed as a heel in the cruiserweights, yeah, it was boring compared to what cruiserweights are supposed to be, but he was still a great character. This is not the way that you get people to go, he's not a bad guy, because you're literally just like
he is not whatever his real name is. He has decided he is Enzo Amore, which is probably the worst fucking thing.
That's the worst decision he could have made at this point.
Yes.
He could have very easily just been like, "I'm Eric."
Yeah. Oh yeah, his name is Eric, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So truthfully, I would not be. I wish the best for him, because I did like Enzo Amore a lot. I had high hopes for both him and Cass as a tag team. I'm really surprised they never won a title. That still shocks me. Like, with all the fucking title shots they had, like against the Revival and other teams in NXT and all this, they didn't have as many shots on the main roster, but they had a few shots. I'm just really shocked they never won at any point. But I really hope for Enzo, but I would not be surprised if for some reason in like the next 2 to 3 years is like, oh yeah, Enzo Amore or Eric blah 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 is dead because he, did a shit ton of drugs.
nah.
Yeah, nah.
Agree or disagree? If you were to say, what's the worst thing you can possibly do after being acquitted of charges like he was accused of, this is pretty much the worst thing he could have done, right?
Yeah, because he comes out with a video pretty much shitting on his former career and the fans of his former career. Then he goes on to call the person who accused him of rape a lying bitch. Then he just basically says, I'm the hottest thing in the world. And it's like, bro, no one knows you. Like, wrestling fans knew you. And it's a very small niche group there. No one is concerned with you. And especially with the track record you have. I just don't think this is the best way to go about it. I hope if he's successful with it, great. But I don't see it happening.
It's just one of those things where, like, if it was good, it'd be a different story. Like, if this was catchy or something good out of it. But he comes off so weird in the music video, and, like, especially my favorite part of the music video itself is when he's in that, like, go-kart, dune buggy, whatever the hell it is. I don't know what you fucking call it. And he's dragging the coffin, and he's not lip-syncing anymore. He's just nodding his head, and he looks like he's having the fucking time of his life. Like, if you gave him a coupon to go and race little kids at a go-kart thing, and he's just sort of like, fuck yeah, this is amazing. Like, this kind of thing, and it's like...
it's not... It's the furthest thing from This Is America. Like...
That's a good way to put it. It's the furthest thing from there. That's good.
If anything, this song is This Is White America.
Oh God,
it's just so bad. It's really terrible. Of everybody, we can't do it justice. Watch the stupid thing, and then go back into your YouTube history and delete that you've watched it, so that way you don't get any kind of like, well, if you liked that, then here's the trending topics you might like, because you don't want to see anything that's close to it.
No, you'll get Bad Bobby, you'll get or Bad Baby, my bad. You'll get Bad Baby, you'll get 6ix9ine, that Worldstar Hip Hop channel, dude.
What is up with this fucking 6ix9ine guy?
I sent you the videos or the music videos.
Is that the guy that looks like Jeff Hardy and Post Malone had a child?
Yeah,
dude, and got pissed on by
Dude, he totally saw what I saw. Holy shit! Yes, thank you. I sent him and Tony, like 3 other people. Like, oh, dude, 6ix9ine is 100% Jeff Hardy. If Jeff Hardy has rainbow hair and has a bunch of 6ix9ine tattoos.
Yeah, he's like the weird Crip version of something that should pop out of My Little Pony.
Dude,
and it's odd how catchy that one song is that you had sent me. Like, I fucking hate it, but I love it.
Have you listened to his new song?
I don't think so. Which one's the new one?
I would have to look it up. I forget the name of it, but it's pretty fucking catchy. I'll send it to you
watched the React channel, the Fine Bros.
Yeah,
I watched the Elders, I think it was, react to that, or the adults react to it or whatever, and they were just kind of like, what the hell is this? And I'm like, okay, at least almost nobody is just kind of like, oh, this guy seems like a great role model. Kind of a thing.
I mean, rap isn't like, it's not my go-to in any sense, but that's why I brought up This Is America, because I like Childish Gambino, and everything Donald Glover touches turns to gold. It looks like everything Enzo Amore is going to touch is going to turn to his poop emoji tights that he loved wearing on Monday Night Raw. Bro.
Thanks for the input, Vince.
You know what, bro? He was a great character, and I want to see him go far. But bro, this rap thing, bro, I don't even know what's going on here, bro.
Vince, what would you do differently?
I would put him back in wrestling, bro, and I would put him up against John Cena in a rap battle at WrestleMania. And that would be the hottest thing in the world, bro.
Well, a special guest referee, because you need to have some kind of celebrity appearance. No, you need celebrity appearances at WrestleMania, so you need Bill Cosby.
Oh,
Jesus Christ. Dude, no, he's going to be dead. And he can't leave his house. I don't know, maybe WrestleMania might be a way to get off of house arrest for one night.
And that's the WrestleMania that's going to be on Fox. Before we wrap it up, let's just open up the idea of everything and just, I don't know, random topics. You want to throw something out there? Throw something out there for a couple minutes. Why not?
Well, you saw
How
Raw.
random.
You saw Nia Jax turned heel. How typical WWE is this? You have her be the I'm bullied because I'm fat and it's sad and feel bad for me and I'm going to show you that bullies get their asses kicked. And then you have Alexa say, no, Nia's the bully. And yeah, bullies get their asses kicked. And then she comes out on Raw 2 weeks later and really bullies the shit out of this local competitor.
Nia is the female version of the Big Show, and that's not a knock on her weight. That's a knock on how WWE is going to treat her going forward. Which is, I'm a heel, and I'm going to be a big monster heel. But when I'm a babyface, I have to gain sympathy from the crowd by my not even by my weight, but like the Big Show fucking cries when he's a face. Nia Jax is being a big person that cries and uses her weight to make people feel bad about her, which is a terrible way of saying it because I'm not sure that's not the point I'm trying to make. But if you're gonna do this and like turn her heel like right after you do this big WrestleMania thing and like I don't know, it's just kind of fucking dumb.
Well, maybe it's not that she turned babyface and turned heel. Maybe Alexa Bliss was right the whole time. And she's actually a babyface.
I would love if that.
What if they did the double turn?
And they actually showed footage of the Disney footage of her eating the turkey legs.
For the old woman, like,
oh yes,
yeah, that'd be fucking amazing. Why not?
That would turn. Listen, that would turn the storyline of completely 100% around if they did that. Like one of the worst feuds of the year will turn into the best instantly.
Also from Raw tonight, Corey Graves during the tag match with Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy and the Ascension, at the very end goes, "Oh, here comes my favorite part, the climax." And you can tell that they must have given him a weird look because he literally went, "What? That's what they said. That's what they called it." Like, and that just stood out to me as hilarious because Corey Graves works so hard, and you can tell he's trying. And it's just like, the commentators today don't have as much character as they once did.
I got two things. One, can we talk about how the B team is like the greatest tag team of this century?
Yeah, I think they already jumped the shark for me. I think tonight was a little bit overkill.
Nah, a little bit, but that's like that was the best segment on Raw in like years, so it's not that good. But no, I will say that segment was fine up until the food fight part of it. I enjoyed Rhino just like sitting there just eating the bologna sandwiches.
My favorite part of the food fight was Cole going, "Well, this used to happen at Thanksgiving around here."
Yeah, it was like
Lampshade.
that or honestly that or the 4th of July. But the second thing I wanted to talk about, or actually it's a question I want to ask. I'm gonna put a WWE pay-per-view on to go to bed. Which one? What should I do on the network? A good
I'm
one.
gonna say you should put down. I don't know if it's necessarily good or not, but the first thing that popped in my mind: King of the Ring '93.
Dude,
Okay.
that's one of the ones that I go to when I want to put on a pay-per-view before
Really?
I go to bed.
I don't know why that popped into my brain.
Because it's a good show for that weird like transitional new generation era. It's a pretty good pay-per-view. It's like Bret Hart's coming out party as the head of the generation, and it's Hogan's exit. So it's a pretty good one.
Okay, I'm glad that you guys pretty much did the same one. Cool.
Strange.
All In, Cody Rhodes versus Nick Aldis for the NWA title has been confirmed, and it was said over these Honor United shows that if Cody Rhodes wins the Ring of Honor World Championship between now and All In, that their match would be title for title. What do you guys think about that?
Just do whatever you got to do to sell the show. I can't. Well,
They sold the show out.
Yeah, my bad.
Half an hour without any match even being announced. So
which is crazy and incredible. If and I'm not gonna.
If it leads to people merging companies, I'm down for it.
Yeah, I'm with you, Tony.
It could.
That one, I really hope that they do stream it because I'm looking forward to doing a pay-per-view point on the All In show, just because it'll be nice to talk about another company, which leads me to my other point. Next week, New Japan Pro Wrestling doing Dominion. They're doing Okada and Omega for the title again, and they're doing Chris Jericho versus Tetsuya Naito. Do you have any interest, Tony, in talking about this show, doing a preview/review something for this show?
Minimal.
Okay.
I wouldn't rule it out, but at the same time, I'm so burned out on wrestling, I don't think I could watch another thing. Yet, at the same time, since it's not WWE, that could be a little bit of a fun change of pace. So I guess it's going to kind of depend on what's happening next week. So maybe an impromptu extra little thing. I do know, at the very least, that the next week's plan for the main event is going to be the Call the Spot, since by that point, we should have actual, like, concrete names for the Money in the Bank. We know the women's Money in the Bank now, and tomorrow night on SmackDown, we should know the final member of the men's Money in the Bank, and then we'll be able to kind of rank them and stuff like that. But this week, we don't know what the main event's going to be. And that's going to be at least partially up to you guys listening. You guys are going to be able to pick, to a certain extent, what you'd like to see. There's a poll on the Mega Maniacs right now of just a couple of different options and some space for you guys to put some actual suggestions for that. So, you know, if you want to see top rope list of what? You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you know, there's some options that reign supreme over others. You might just have to keep scores over what those are. You know
Drew is really adamantly wanting to bring back Belderberry.
Yes, exactly. No, not that.
Is that on one person or three person? Actually, I'm doing a finisher versus finisher article, which I just have to finish, but I'm lazy.
That's better. Honestly, that's probably better as a written article than it is as a podcast.
Yeah, that's why we're changing that up.
Belderberry, is that one person?
One person, and you debate whether or not that person should get a push or if they should be fired.
Okay, we could do that for hours. That's a good one. That's a good one to do.
Honestly, that one's a good one if we do more than one person.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably fit a good 2 or 3 people into one episode. Because the names that pop out instantly to me for Belterberry: Bailey, Ziggler, and
honestly, Ambrose would be a good one when he gets back.
Yeah, we could do Ambrose now. I think that's a great one.
Bobby Roode,
right now.
Bobby Roode as well.
Yeah, we have that as an option for those who are not familiar with Belderberry. We also have heel or face, where we could do heel or face Nia Jax. We could do Superstar Scores, as mentioned before. I know people had suggested Superstar Scores Paige in the past, and that's a possibility. Or we could bring somebody else into the mix too. I would say, and I didn't even put this on the poll because I was like, nah, this isn't a thing. Not retain, repackage, release, because we are going to do Call the Spot. It's very similar. So, no for that. Not going to do fantasy booking because at some point closer to SummerSlam, we're going to do fantasy booking. We never really do Wrestling with the Past for anything other than like the Hall of Fame and such. So I just throw that out there.
Let's do that. Let's do Wrestling with the Past, Shawn Michaels or something. I don't know. Let's just.
Dude, what would we do Wrestling with the Past that would be different than the Hall of Fame stuff?
Well, let's just talk about, I said Shawn Michaels because I know Tony, that's Tony's favorite wrestler, but like, let's do someone cool like that.
What is it? So retrospectiveness to them?
Yeah.
That's where I tend to incorporate that into the other ones and stuff. Like when we were talking about Mount Rushmore and stuff, which I would rather not do a Mount Rushmore again since we just did one. But if people really liked it as much as they did, and maybe you want to see it again, maybe you vote again, maybe you want to see one more match, which is something that we haven't done before. And maybe even that could be that kind of a thing. Maybe one more match, Shawn Michaels. If he could fight one person, one time, who would it be?
Scott Steiner.
Oh, you stole my answer. God damn it.
I'll do anything with Scott Steiner. Heel face Scott Steiner.
Fine, I'll have to make it one more match, Rick Steiner, where Scott Steiner is his manager. We have got the top rope list, as I mentioned before. We've got the split crowd, we could maybe do something along those lines. So there's possibilities. Commentary track, if we are going to do maybe one of the Money in the Bank. And if we do, we already did the first Money in the Bank, so we have to figure out which Money in the Bank that would be. I think that's currently number 2 on the list, but there's plenty of time to figure that out. And then also one more thing to be aware of is somewhat soon in the next couple of weeks, we are going to be doing the Sexiest Superstars tournament. I've been getting a lot of questions about that. A lot of emails and stuff of people doing like, dude, when is the tournament happening? It's like, it's coming. It's coming.
That's odd.
I want to vote on fucking chicks.
Yeah.
It's
Fuck the guys. I'm just kidding. I'll vote.
Yeah, actually, most of them tend to say, "When's the Divas tournament coming on?" And then it's like you do realize it's half men too. But that is most likely the preliminary round is going to be coming up at the end of June. So for those interested in that, sit tight a little bit. And not only if you're leaving your comments as far as what you'd like to see for the main event for this week, but as far as any other topics that we talked about, drop your comments in the comment section below. That's what the comment section is for comments.
All right, Tony, let's close it out on this. I got a question for you. Got a scenario. Would Roman Reigns, for you, be more over if you would come out and endorse Star Wars The Last Jedi?
Would he be more over as a heel, you mean?
No, would he be more over as the top guy, the top babyface, if he would just come out and just express the love he has for Star Wars The Last
Jedi? I'd like him more if he did that. But I love Last Jedi, even though everyone else seems to hate it.
Guys, split crowd. Tony and Drew on The Last Jedi.
See, we could try, but he knows so much more about Star Wars than me. It's not fair. Which by the way, it's not so much as a hot take, but I think the first Star Wars, so Phantom Menace, I think that one is the third best Star Wars movie if you take Jar Jar out of it. Yeah,
I have said before, if you manipulate just a handful of things in the Phantom Menace, you get an amazing movie.
Yeah,
it's just a shame that the handful of things are scattered throughout it so fucking much. But
yeah,
that's more of a fanboys talk.
Yeah.
So, Fanboys Anonymous, if you want to know what I thought of Solo, a Star Wars story, go ahead and check out that review. A little bit of a spoiler alert. Not bad. And
it's cool.
I might be writing up some other Star Wars stuff coming up soon, depending on if I get some time for that, because I kind of want to bitch and complain about a couple things here and there, and I like bitching and complaining about things. That's why I have a podcast, and that's why I talk to you, and that's why you listen to me.
Oh, damn, I didn't know.
Yeah,
cool.
That's why.
I'm glad someone has to.
And if you want to hear more of bitching and complaining, hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel and ring the bell for notifications, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at SmarkOutMoment, or if you're checking out the Fanboys Anonymous stuff, those accounts, obviously, because SmarkOutMoment doesn't have the fanboy stuff. Otherwise, what's the point? Follow these guys over on their Twitter handles and everything else that they've got going on. Rob, anything you want to toss out?
I'm at Dude Police on Twitter and Instagram. I'm sure I'll be contributing to one of the weeklies at smarkoutmoment.com. I should have more stuff to plug coming soon, and stay tuned for an eventual finisher versus finisher on the top rope flying elbow drop.
Drew?
You can follow me at Joseph White on Twitter and Instagram. On Twitter, very, very important discussions I have about why BoJack Horseman is like the greatest cartoon ever. Just the most important shit ever. So go there.
Never seen it.
It's not the best cartoon ever. It's really good though. I'll say that I consider Rick and Morty probably the smartest written cartoon of like the past 5 years. And BoJack Horseman is close behind it. I think it's a really good show. Like the first 5 episodes of it is like very fucking corny and cheesy, and it turned a lot of people off. But the second half of season 1 is fucking incredible, and they roll that over into season 2, and season 3 is really, 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 really. The season 3 is the best season. Then season 4 is pretty good. It's not as good as the first 3, but it's pretty good. So, but yeah, that's my short take on BoJack Horseman. But yeah, Joseph White, McFrickin' Duncan. You should follow Ricky Torpedo because I'm trying to get him back in it and Payton's MPW thing so bad now. I just want to see him super kick Anton just once.
Alrighty, everybody. Thanks for listening to episode 339. That's what we got for you. Like it or leave it.
This has been a mess.
But it's been a hot mess.
And it's still better than Phoenix by
You
Enzo Amore.
you should change the name from Hot Tag to Hot Mess.
I probably should just see what it gets it. But we will see you when we see everybody. This has been another Smark Out moment, and we're being counted out.